Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending the Greenville MPO TAC meeting. I apologize for the delays. We have been dealing with some technical issues. Some members we're missing the link to join. So if you could bear with us just 1 minute. Thank you. Well, good afternoon again, and sorry for the wait. As I said, there were some it's a mix of technical issues and not tech savvy folks like me that is create a perfect storm. But Rachel, I think we have the quorum to start the meeting. Do you want to do the roll call?
Sure. PJ Connolly,
Here.
Doug Jackson.
It's Ricky Hines.
Yeah.
Okay. Melvin McLaughlin. Steve Tripp.
Here.
Richard Zeck.
Here.
And Thomas Taft.
Here.
Is that it?
Yes, that's it. I was looking over the alternate members, but yeah, that's it.
All right. Sounds good. We ready to go then?
Yes, we are. Let me share my screen with the agenda. Hold on.
Okay.
Can the members see?
Yes, we can.
Awesome.
All right. We will, I guess I'll call the, get that. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
The Greenville Urban Area Metropolitan Planning Organization Transportation Advisory Committee meeting to order. I am Mayor PJ Connolly, and I'll be presiding over the meeting today on June 29th, 2022. First, I need the approval of this afternoon's agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
Mayor Tripp, so move.
All right. So I got a motion by Mayor Tripp. Was that second by Mayor Hines?
Yes.
All right. Motion's made by Mayor Tripp, second by Mayor Hines. All those in favor say aye. And all those in favor say nay. And I'll call on Rachel. I'll call on Rachel for the vote.
PJ Connolly,
Aye.
Ricky Hines,
Aye.
Melvin McLaughlin. Oh, he's not here. Steve Tripp,
Aye.
Richard Zeck,
Aye.
and Thomas Taft.
Aye.
Back
All
to
right.
you, Mayor.
All right. And now we'll go over the ethics, awareness, and conflict of interest reminder. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest with respect to any matter coming before the board today? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any participation in the particular matter involved. All right. We'll move on now to the public comment period. Is anyone here registered to speak during the public comment period?
No, nobody has registered for the comment period.
All right, we'll close the public comment period. We'll move on to the regular agenda. I guess I'll kick it over to you, Iliad.
Yes, the first item in the agenda packet is on page 3rd to the 5th is the minutes from our last meeting. We had our last meeting March 16, and the attachment of the agenda item is the minutes. So does anybody has any questions or would like to modify the minutes?
No, Zach moves to approve as is.
All right, do I got a second?
I second it.
All
Ricky
right,
Hines.
all right. Motion was made by Mayor Zach, second by Mayor Hines. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. I will call on Ms. Manning for the vote.
PJ Connolly,
Aye.
Steve Tripp,
Aye.
Richard Zeck,
Aye.
Thomas Taft.
Aye.
And Ricky Hines.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, move on to B.
So we have in attendance to our meeting, we have invited Amna Cameron. She will be speaking to us about this Mindless based user fee pilot program. This is the fourth stage or the first phase of the program. And I wanted to make aware our members of these pilots. It provides maybe another way to fund future transportation projects. I will share my screen, Amna. I think you will take it from here. Oh, Amna, you're muted.
It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Will you share or do you want me to? Okay.
I have it, yes.
So next slide. So it's a pleasure to be here with you. I am speaking to you about a pilot that DOT is undertaking. Now, 3 years ago, I bought a new car. And my fuel efficiency, which was the reason, and it being old, was why I did it. And my fuel efficiency went up 9 miles per gallon. Now, what that means for me is I have $75 extra in my pocket a year that I'm not contributing in gas taxes to the state. That's just me, $75. And when you multiply that by the number of people who are buying used and new cars, you can see the problem. While our population is growing, we have an inflationary formula, but at the end of the day, it's not bringing in more money because the tax base from EVs and fuel efficiency is shrinking. Next slide. So I have this device. We are in partnership with the Eastern Transportation Coalition to conduct a mileage-based user fee pilot. You take this this device, you plug it into your OBD port underneath your steering wheel, and that's it. It will track where you're going, and it's going to say, right now, this is how much you're paying in gas tax. But it's also going to say, but if we switch to what I call an MBUF, a miles-based user fee, then this is what happens. Next slide. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can use this device that has a GPS. You can use this device that doesn't track your location. You can do a manual reporting, or if you have a new vehicle, you have in-vehicle telemetrics, you can participate that way. But in our last pilot, very minimal, pure transportation advocates, DOT employees, 83% chose this GPS system next. And why do we support that GPS? It's because of this. Look at the number of states we visited. So you have concerns about an MBUF, privacy, what is the impact on rural drivers? The biggest thing I'm concerned about is the future. And the future is that this is going to be on a national level. The federal governments are supporting this. It's included in IIJA, that there's a national pilot. This is why it's important, because we don't stay in the state of North Carolina. Those 149 people that participated the first time drove in 21 states. And we have to know, are you leaving the state boundary? Are you on a private road? So that the taxing structure works to distribute those future revenues accordingly. But if you're not comfortable, just please participate, use one of the other non-GPS options. Next. And so we want you to join. What you do is you take a survey, because we want to know, how do your perceptions about an MBUF change by being a part of this process? So essentially, you sign up. You need two things: your odometer reading, and you need your VIN number, because we want to be able to say specifically, if you drive this Honda Accord, then we're going to know through the system, this is your MPG. So it will be a correct representation of what you drive and how you drive to make that comparison. It is free. It has strict privacy protections. No one will know you participate. I will get an analysis from this private entity that says, elected officials, this is a group response and how they are changing their perception from the start to the end of the pilot. But no information is given out as to who is involved in that. Only the number that qualifies. Next. So again, you enroll, you insert the device, and you forget about it. You'll get monthly statements. It goes to October 31st. And then you return it. Next slide. So the big thing that's different this year is we really do think this is the way of the future. I'm not saying that North Carolina is going to do this, but many states around the country are. But the overall issue is the federal revenue structure is failing. And this is what they're looking at a federal level as a national replacement for the gas tax. And when that happens, North Carolina will go along, if not before. So we want elected officials to be prepared, to be able to be knowledgeable about this. We continue to apply for grants. This project is funded through a federal grant, and we want your feedback because we don't just want the transportation community to be the ones making these decisions. So we have 150 slots. We have 100 slots for elected officials, 350 for the general public. Please participate. Staff can participate, and we will let you know what the results are. We hope you do. So, kind of in conclusion, here is the timeline. In the next slide. We launched this month. You've got to be registered by the end of July. And the process concludes at the end of October. There's a lot of cool diagnostics that you get from this. So it tells you your driving performance and gives you some suggestions for improving your performance. And you know, it's a cool thing to do. And it's, you know, I think people hear it and they get scared by the concept, but we're at the point of saying people need to be taking this option more seriously because of the amount of interest coming from the federal government. This isn't going to be a quick process, but the process is really kicking in full gear through these studies and pilots. That's it. You register at North Carolina mbuffpilot.com. Again, odometer reading and your VIN number. And it's maybe a 3 to 4 minute registration process. You get your device in the mail in probably 2 or 3 days, and you just plug it in and forget it. Anyone have any questions?
Any other questions? I don't think so.
Well, thank you so much. Again, you can contact me anytime, but please, we'd love for you to participate.
Thank you for the presentation. We appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move to. So we could proceed to the next agenda item. If the chair would like, I could go ahead and explain it.
Yeah, please do.
So we are on item C. This is a page 8 to 15. This is the basically the main item, or the item that will consume most of our time in our meeting today, or the purpose of the meeting. The NCDOT has released the draft STEP, the 2024 to 2033 STEP. And we're going to go over on the reports of the changes since our adopted STEP back in 2019, 2020, the reprogram STEP, and this. You will see within the attachments the draft STEP that has a new format and something that is called swap candidates that I think we have mentioned in the past. I wanted to ask before we head into the changes in the STEP, did any of our members was able to attend one of the webinars that DOT had, or was able to watch the webinar from DOT, the video webinar in YouTube? If not, if you will be interested, we could go over some of the details or key things that they discussed during the update of the STEP. So does any of our members would like to hear briefly go over the STEP webinar, or should we just head into what's the actual changes to our STEP?
I'm fine with just going with the changes.
Okay, so just to mention, what slides are attached at the end of the packet. The link is in the item description here. Feel free to watch the webinar, and if you have any questions, no matter how simple it is, please reach out and we could go over the details of what they have discussed. They basically went over what led to the reprogramming of the projects and the cancellation of P6, and the new system, the new STEP with the selection process of how they got to the new STEP, as well as the swap candidates. They briefly mentioned the swap candidates and what that entailed. So going toward the item here, keep in mind that this new STEP, compared to other times when we go through a prioritization process and we select and allocate points to projects, and then these projects are reflected in the STEP. This STEP is different from the other ones due to the financial issues. We are we don't have any new projects in this step. This is just among the projects that we had before that we were that were what they call it committed projects in the past, and the ones that were in the end of the step. So those are the groupings that we will see now in the report. You will see in the attachment, page 9. This is the report that I created showing the two groups, the groups of the projects that are no longer funded. These is going to be classified as no longer funded, since, as we had in previous meetings, we had discussed of the way that DOT has managed to reduce in order to have a new cycle of P7 and do another prioritization process with fundings for all the divisions and regions, they had to cut and drop some projects that will be then plug in and being part of that competition in the next cycle. And that leaves an opportunity for new projects or new needs or needs that were not identified by the time we scored the projects. Each cycle is a different scoring, so maybe the next prioritization cycle will signalize to other projects that we need sooner. So in the first table, you will see the projects that were basically before this uncommitted, now, as I said, not funded. The projects that are no longer funded, there's a mix. I would say the first project, that is this Greenville Signal System, was a committed project in the past, and it's no longer funded. It was previously scheduled for 26 for utilities and 28 for construction. The next project is the NC33. That's the Blackjack Simpson Road. From Blackjack Simpson Road to Mobley's Bridge. That project was at the end of the step. It was a carryover project, but it will no longer show the amount. It would just say no longer funded. It was a project that regardless was going to compete next cycle. So the next project is 10th Street, from Oxford Road to Evans Street. That's an access management project. The next is Charles Boulevard, from Greenville Boulevard to Bells Fork Road. Again, a project that was in the end of step. Statensburg Road, from Bees Barbecues to Memorial Drive, another access management project, no longer funded. Evans Street, from Red Banks to 5th Street. It was previously scheduled on the 28th, FY28, and now it's no longer funded. Worthington Road, from County Home Road to, that's the intersection of Worthington and County Home Road, I mean. This project was, I think it was pushed in the reprogramming, and now it's no longer funded. And these two are projects that are sidewalk projects at the bottom that we submitted in P5, and they were as carryover projects that we resubmitted in P6. And this is the Greenville Boulevard sidewalks, curb and gutter from basically Dickinson Avenue all the way to US 264 alternate. And the second is Memorial Drive from 5th Street all the way to Davenport Farms Road. And you will see the previous schedule and in this table, and you will see also the remaining funds needed for those projects, as I think it will help us to discuss this further as we ponder for any swap candidates. Now, the projects that we have funded in the step that you will see in the new step are the ones located in table 2. These are projects that are now called delivery projects. These are projects that are in the first 5 years, at least some right of way or some construction is within the 5 years, 5 first years of the step. And that's our Allen Road project from Statensburg to Dickinson Avenue. And it has changed since our last approval. It was accelerated, actually, the construction from FY25 to FY24, so 1 year. The same could be said with actually, I meant Evans Street. All have been kept the same with the construction in 25. That's the project that comes from Worthington Road to Greenville Boulevard. Memorial Drive, that's the intersection on 5th Street and Memorial Drive. That project has not changed in schedule since the last time that we adopted them in the reprogramming. Originally was 2021. Fire Tower Road, that's this portion that is from West Arlington Boulevard to 14th Street. That project has been accelerated 1 year for right of way. So now is 2024, I mean. And construction has been accelerated 2 years from, it was before 2028, I mean, and now it's 2026. The Fire Tower Road segment, the second segment that we submitted, that is from 14th Street to 10th Street, has also been accelerated in the right of way 1 year. Now it's 2025, and construction it has been accelerated 1 year as well. Now it's 2027. Then we got 14th Street. This is a project that goes from Red Banks to Fire Tower. Also has been accelerated 2 years. Now it's 2026. And then at the last is NC43. This project before, when we were going through the scenarios, scenario 2, held harmless, and also the P3, P4, P5 approach, seeing how many projects they could fund with the remaining funds. This project was not, it was not showing as a project that was going to be within the step, the funded step. So we are glad that it's a new project that we previously thought it might not make the cut. So this is the project this is the widening project from Fire Tower Road to Warrington. And the project remains the same as when we reprogram it, that we push the project like 5 to 6 years. So the right of way is 2027 and construction is 2029. So this is within the agenda packet, you will see a map just to explain or show easily where the projects are and which projects are not funded and which projects are on the schedule, the current schedule on the step. All, of course, is subject to change as it could be changed through the year as we do swaps or there's other updates. But this is so far the current map of the projects that we have in the step. And the orange lines are the ones that are not funded in the step. And in the attachment, page 12, you will see the draft step. This is a new format. It's easier to read, and we will have it in a spreadsheet, easier to search. And I think this will help to communicate the projects in the future. And you will see the pages. Oh, these are all the projects that we have funded within the MPO region. Either they're funded, they were already built, but they're still within the step. And this includes, of course, safety projects, transit, and other projects that have to be in the step. And then you have the swapping candidates. That is the next item we're going to discuss. So DOT has provided us a chance to review our community needs and priorities. And they have created a list of projects that could be, that they're calling it swap candidates. These are projects that you could swap in for a project that is already funded or is funded, I would say, in the second table here. So the projects that are here, some of them, or if not the majority, are as swap in candidates. And then the first table are these are the swap in candidates, I mean, and these are the swap out candidates. So we could swap out projects from this table with projects from the table above, if they, of course, if there's an understanding of there's actually a need for it, and if it stays within the threshold, the funding threshold up to 110%, because you have to be mindful that STIP is a fiscal constraint document that has to show the numbers, and we could put a project as long as it stays within the same, it could not be beyond. And there's other caveats that we will have to discuss if we actually have some candidates as the funding source and the mode of transportation. It has to be discussed with the STIP unit with Division 2 prior to actually request the swap. So this is the basically the main point of today's meeting is going over the changes, seeing the projects that we have now as funded, seeing the projects that are no longer funded, having an understanding of the swapping process of like what can be done, what can be swapped, and start the conversation of if you are interested in any of these projects, reach out to MPO to us in the MPO, and we could then review and assess the pros and cons of swapping any of these projects. The the idea is to have this meeting today and make you aware of this, and then by the next meeting we will either adopt or support a swap if we have a swap within our MPO. I think we have a better chance of swapping than other areas that are maybe bigger or have different divisions or have different other complications. Most of our projects are within Greenville and the Greenville area. Does anybody have any questions about the report, the new step, or the swapping candidates?
I do want to say one thing that I have been waiting. I would say the city has been waiting for the traffic signalization program to take place for ever since I've been an elected official. And it's, I'm going on, I think, my 7th year now. The city's had, I think we had $3 or $4 million set aside for that program, which was our match. And I think the first estimates were that it was going to be about $9 million. And now I see it's over $12 million, and I would love to convey that it's probably, from a time standpoint, it's probably a better idea to address that sooner than later. And then also from the flow of traffic throughout our community, it's not going to get any better the longer this waits. I mean, I'm excited to see that Evans Street's still on schedule and Fire Tower Road has been moved up. I mean, that's great news, but, something as simple as the traffic signalization, which, based off of the size and the magnitude of some of these other projects, that's a pretty small project. I think at $12 million. I'd really like for us to look at moving forward with that, because I mean, that's important, not only just for Greenville, but all of Eastern North Carolina as people go in and out of our community. I get complaints all the time about switching signals and changing signals that were not, operating correctly or need to be changed, so the signalization program would be very beneficial if we can get that finally done.
Thank you for the comments. So this is a project that I think is something that we could discuss with division and see how it can be maybe swapped in, but that will also imply that we need to swap out projects, and that is this. This is the table actually of the projects that could be swapped out, right? No, sorry. These are the projects that could be swapped in. These are the projects that are funded, therefore they could be swapped out. Is there any of the projects that jumps out that maybe we could review? There's always discussions of priorities.
No,
okay.
No, I think that if anything, there's more projects that have been not funded that probably need to be in the list. And, years and years, the longer that you wait and the longer we push this off, and not solve the issue with the funding at the NCDOT, the worse this is going to get. I mean, a great example of that is what I just told you about the signalization program. The estimation when I first got onto the council was about $9 million. Here we are now, it's $12 million. So, searching for a funding stream of $3 million extra, of course, from the magnitude of the budget that we have at the state, that's a small amount, but, that is a significant amount for each of these projects. As the time goes on, the more expensive it's going to get, and it's only going to get worse. So, I would urge anybody at the NCDOT or our legislators to work on getting this problem fixed as soon as possible and using some of the money that's there. I think I heard something this morning saying that the rainy day fund is like $5 billion, and that's not going to fix all the NCDOT's problems, but it's going to make a significant change by using some of those dollars to get these things done before we see higher prices for labor and materials to get these projects done.
And I'm not familiar with is this the funds from the infrastructure bill, bipartisan infrastructure?
No, this is just their budget that they laid out. It's roughly, I think it was $5 billion in rainy day funds. They've got to figure something out to fix the NCDOT's funding stream. And I understand that, as people change over to electric vehicles, and the presentation earlier was a great example of how they're trying to fix it. But, we don't have 5 to 10 years to wait to see if we can change that funding stream, because it's going to get worse and we're going to have more road needs 5 to 10 years from now.
Hey, this is Thomas Taft. Thanks, PJ. You're exactly right. I mean, the impetus is there, and I do think there are some stopgap funding measures that we will see in this most recent budget that'll help us. One of the things that we really need to bear down on is looking at the funded projects, and I know it's painful to discuss even considering pulling something, but we really need to bear down on the projects that are funded and decide whether or not there's an opportunity to say, hey, pick your poison. Would you rather have Allen Road widened, or would you rather have the signalization and or not fire tower? We're in good shape there, but pick your project. So I think that's kind of where Elude is going right now, is that we really do need to all sit down and discuss what the priorities are, as distasteful as it may be, and figure out if there are any that can be sacrificed. And I know, again, none of them need to be, but I think we need to decide if there's any that want to be in exchange for some additional.
Yeah, and I agree with you. The issue is, like, I look at all the projects right now that are up there, and every one of them needs to be done. I mean, Evans Street is overloaded right now. Anytime during the day, during the high peak periods, it's backed up. So that one definitely needs to be done. Fire Tower Road, I think last time we discussed that at one of our meetings, is like 126% capacity right now. So it exceeds that. And then, thinking about Allen Road, if we look at Allen Road right now, you're right. I mean, I think that might be one that we could probably, looking at it from this perspective in a short term, that might be something that you could delay. But, then I look at the fact that the city just recently rezoned several large parcels over there. We've got a second phase of Brook Hollow that's gonna start over there. I think we have a couple multifamily projects that are going to start over there. And so, 5 years from now, we're going to be in the same issue. If we kick that one down the road and say we don't want to fund that one, we're going to have that same problem that we're having on Fire Tower Road, where we didn't plan correctly to be able to make sure that we can handle the additional traffic flow that's going to take place between there and Dickinson Avenue.
And
so, I honestly, I look at all these projects, I don't see anything that we could really take off.
And I will say that we have been in discussions with the city of Greenville, specifically trying to compare the projects on going back to our long range planning document that we have on priority list, and then comparing it to this. And we have discussions of seeing what we have, what can be compared apples to apples to then make so the city maybe could make a decision on what might be the best path forward. I will say that I agree with Thomas Taft on the situation that is not easy for all of us. It's a strange stage to be deciding picking the poison, but I have been following this whole process with the work group as they select the projects and how we came up with this. Compared to other MPOs, we have fared well. I will say that's not something all the other planning organizations could say. So I think we could focus now on the swap candidates and see if there's actually warranted for swap candidates, as most of these projects that are here are P3 projects before we had many other improvements in our roadways. If any of the members have any other idea, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will definitely see more about this item in the next meeting.
Hey guys, this is Mayor Hines. I'm actually in North Dakota right now, and I need to get to another meeting, so I'm gonna ask to be excused.
Thank you.
We don't have an issue as far as quorum, right? We got enough members here.
Yeah.
Correct, because Melvin McLaughlin called in, so he is on here now.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Mayor
All right,
Hines.
guys.
Take care. Have fun.
All right, later.
See you.
So going back to the agenda, the first page in the agenda, we have the next items are just updates. And in our last meeting, we offered the idea for the TAC for the sake of your time. We offered the idea if you would like to provide us any updates of any of these items from Division 2. They have project construction, resurfacing, planning division. They have new planning projects and initiatives that are developing right now. At the integrated mobility divisions have some just few projects that are happening right now. And then the MPO, I have attached some of the grants or initiatives that we that are developing right now. So any of these items you would like an update, please let us know. If not, we could just proceed for the upcoming meeting.
Okay.
Schedule.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So I think the only thing I will mention that is different from what I have said within the MPO updates actually is I have shared already that we have the grants, and I forgot to mention that since our last meeting in March, we the MPO board has awarded Greenville with the MPO conference for next year. So that's something that I need you all to keep in mind for next year. So we will host the conference, and we will be looking for TAC members that volunteer.
And this is a replacement for the one that was missed during COVID. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, the 2020, the infamous 2020 conference that we tried twice. So this is the most, I will say, this is the most planned conference. It's been 3 years in the making. So we are excited to finally host it and use some of the things that we prepared for that conference. Also, I wanted to mention that the summit, there's a bike walk summit in October, and the details are in the attachment. And if you haven't seen the updates from the other emails, the Washington Greenville Greenway feasibility study that we supported in our last meeting, it was awarded SBR funds. So that will start in FY23 actually. So that's the main things that maybe jumps out from the update. If you have any questions from any of the things that we have in the attached packet, please let me know.
All right. So the meeting schedule.
Yes, our next meeting, I will say, is August 24th, and then December 7 is the joint meeting.
Okay.
By the 24th, we will have so far items such as maybe a swap candidates if we have them. We will have a TIP amendment for the bill grant projects, and maybe some. We have been discussing about some TIP amendments for other transit or safety targets for transit. So it is still a pending conversation. We will update the members ahead of the meeting.
All right. Sounds good. Is that it?
That will be all. Yes.
All right. So I guess I just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Everybody
I'll
excited?
second.
We got a second?
Steve Tripp.
All right. Motion's been made by Mayor Zach, second by Mayor Tripp. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. I'll call on Miss Manning for the vote.
According to Valerie, in order for us to vote on anything else, we have to vote to dismiss Ricky Hines from the meeting. So his vote doesn't count going forward.
Okay.
Or I could be wrong, but I don't think we have to take a vote to adjourn. I think you can just adjourn it
That's right.
All right, we are adjourned.
The chair has the saying on this.
All right, sounds good. Well, we're officially adjourned. We'll see everybody back here on August 24th.
Okay, bye.
All right, take care, everybody. Have a good 4th of July.
You too.
You too.
Thank you.